Tatiana again with your health clinic, and today I'm having my wonderful guest and dearest friend, Dr. Roger Janes of Augusta Street Clinic in Greenville, South Carolina. First of all, I would like to thank you for coming to my clinic to give us this wonderful interview. And as many of you guys know, that this is integrated health clinic, and Dr. Janes also on integrated path. So he is a proctor doctor, and also he is integrated health practitioner. We decided to go with very unusual topic today. So Dr. Janes came up with this topic, and it was very pleasant to me because I was wondering about that, the same. I was in the same realm for many years myself. So, and now we decided to bring all our knowledge, what we have, to the subscribers of my channel and to visitors of my channel. So, let's start with our topic first. The topic is
geopathic stress.
Geopathic stress. So many people know what is it. Some people don't. I did a lot of researches on my own. The people who came from Europe, they more familiar with that. Because first of all, it was recognized in Europe back in 1929 that people in certain houses have more illnesses than people in another house, living in another houses. And so there was a dowser, his name was Gustav van Pol. So he took the small town in Germany, and he decided to do a lot of checkups with his dowsing devices. And he was the one actually who was brought in history, and he spoke how this geopathic stress and geopathic zones reflect our health. So, and my first question to Dr. Janes would be, what are geopathic zones?
Geopathic zones are electromagnetic fields that can be deep in the earth or on the surface that will cause sickness in people, animals, and you can even see the effect in plants, trees that are twisted and growing in unusual ways. Some people can feel it. Animals definitely can feel it because cats are attracted to laying on those type of fields. Dogs will stay away from them, and ants and termites, wasps love to be around geomagnetic fields.
So how do you think it's gonna stress our body? To what point we can actually get sick and see these illnesses on a physical level already? So what you can say about that?
Usually the first effect that people notice is they can't sleep well. And then over time, other problems develop. For instance, cancer. Those things, abnormal cell growth.
Absolutely.
It's very common, and it's not recognized by a lot of people, but it's truly can be effectively stopped if you know how to move your sleeping position or away from those zones.
Exactly, change the house, yeah, and I really, I'm totally agree with you, because I literally know some houses that people from generation to generation, like starting with great-grandfather or great-grandmother, who have absolutely the same exactly the same type of cancers, but however, the people think that they inherited one from the other one, and it's in their generation. However, as soon as they're breaking this, the rules, living in the same house, they're moving to another area, buying new houses, the cancer cells don't exist anymore. And I know several families actually like that. I was questioning myself since childhood because, I grew up in Russia and in the Soviet Union back then, and on the south, part, and a lot of people were talking about that. So, but since this all kind of, it's not, you cannot call it science. So, and whatever is not science, we cannot prove that it exists, right? It's more of a like on esoteric level of our knowledge and and intuition, right? So. Can you tell people if these geopathic zones are visible to human eye nowadays?
The effect can be visible. As I mentioned, the effect on the growth of plants, even grass. I was reading a doctor's information about her observing cows that would only eat certain parts of the grass.
Yes, yeah.
And it was the same grass, they just ate certain parts, certain areas, even though it was eaten before.
Yeah.
So they know how to avoid geopathic, the effect of geopathic.
Of course, animals more intuitive than people. That's for sure. Okay, so let me ask you that question. I know many people use dowsing devices like pendulums or, what's the other one? Another dowsing devices. So how do you think they can, do you think this appropriate to use it and identify all this, let's say, electromagnetic grids and fields, let's say, around your house? Is it more appropriate? Is this the only device that we can use now, or there's some maybe device already more sophisticated?
Well, the old methods are quite effective, but we're dealing now with more than just a regular geopathic. We're dealing with a lot of electromagnetic pollution, and there are devices that can measure the level of it and
Right.
and give you ideas of how to block that energy so that you can be healthy.
That's very interesting. I was also reading, some articles here and there, and some, some people were saying that it's nice to protect this area with mercury. However, of course, nobody's going to put like mercury, in a circle. And some people came to idea that if they're going to just take regular rock and put mercury periodic table sign, which is Hg, so it's already, these zones were not responding on dowsing devices as a bad geopathic zones, as a very strong electromagnetic field. Do you believe in it? Do you think is it might possibility to avoid this way?
It'd be interesting to see.
To see how it works.
Do some
Yeah.
different trials, I guess you could say.
Definitely.
Try it again and see if it does work.
That's very interesting, yeah. And we're the people who try to do a lot of experiments also, which is healthy and good experiments, nothing like against of, the human body or the, but especially experimental the energy, we're trying to see how certain things, let's say energy from microwave, how it's going to work on the food, and this is the type of experiments we like to see in we're doing some, I'm checking my food all the time, sometimes everything from microwave comes like a rubber, and it's definitely not healthy for our body. I mean, yeah, so that's very interesting. Can you mention, let's say if you walked into the house, right, how you can determine that, how you can think that this house might be kind of touched by all this, the bad,
Yeah.
zones?
People that investigate that generally say that there's kind of a strange smell. It seems kind of, the air is kind of stifling, I guess is a good word. And kind of an uncomfortable feeling.
Very
It's hard.
uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
I also can add that some rooms could be very cold, while the other room would be nice and warm, and some people feel that, because there's no reason. In some houses, there's a reason, there's the heaters in one room, blowing much better and more open, but usually you can, the smells is the first one, first identification, I guess, and cold. Also, some people noticing that they can kind of see with the age of their eyes that there is something like walking or passing, and this is another one. This is, again, we're going into esoteric stuff, that it's, because geopathic zones can come from different reasons, It could be electromagnetic fields, it could be from the fields that land before was not used properly, So it's very interesting. Now, let me ask you is, what about cats and dogs? Who prefers more, the negative energy, and who prefers to live in in positive more?
Cats love to lay in the geopathic zones.
They love to, yeah.
Dogs won't.
Dogs won't. Do you think cats would prevent that in the houses? Would they prevent it with their bodies, I would say, so the geopathic zone not to come close to us, or what? Do you
I
think?
wonder about that. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, very interesting, because I know a lot of people like to put cats on their shoulders when they have high blood pressure,
That's right.
and they swear by that. It really helps them, That's very interesting what's going on. So yeah, very nice. So what do you think we can do to prevent ourselves from, let's say we already live in a house and we know that something is not right, not comfortable. We're waking up in the morning and we cannot get enough sleep, even if we sleep normal sleeping cycles, more than even close to 9 hours. So how we should prevent ourselves from that zones?
Well, you need to determine where they are, and you should move your bed in kind of a different position away from those zones, so they won't affect you.
Right. And
Or you could move out of the house if there's so many zones there. You should move.
Yeah, definitely. And I also know that many people turning their bed heads towards north, and it really helps. So it really helps with the sleeping patterns and insomnias and so on. So what do you want to add anything else to everything you said, and what the way how you can help people, let's say in your practice? Would you be able to help anyone if people gonna come with, let's say, no apparent illnesses, but some kind of chronic, let's say chronic insomnia, and if you're gonna find out that the person, doesn't live in the right area, I would say, how you can
Well, I
help
have
people?
a machine in the office that I can determine if there is, electromagnetic or geopathic frequencies. It's really easy, and it's non-invasive and easy to figure out. Then once you determine that, you have to go to the house and figure out
Definitely.
what to do about it. And as I said before, electromagnetic pollution is huge.
Huge, I know, yeah, unfortunately. Now, do you consider this electromagnetic pollution, does it correlate with environmental toxins or not? Do you think it's the same thing? Because you know, it's kind of tricky. Some people might think this is all comes from maybe like from the, you know, from chemtrails and stuff like that, but still I think it's completely different, you know. What do you think?
Yes,
Or-
I think those type of frequencies can create toxins in the environment and in our bodies.
In our bodies, yeah.
The body can't, if we can't break down our food properly or eliminate toxins.
Exactly.
Again, those type of frequencies upset the frequencies of our bodies.
Definitely.
Cleaning process, particularly cell phones.
Yes.
You know, if you
major
sleep
one.
next to your cell phone, your brain cleans itself 6 times during the night. If there's a frequency near there, then the brain doesn't completely, the DNA will not let the brain clean itself properly.
I see.
So it ages us faster.
I see. And probably also if people already some kind, you know, suffer from a lot of toxins, environmental toxins in their cells, so they're going to be more susceptible to catch all this, you know, the kind of like they're going to be more responding on all these negative effects of geopathic zones, right?
Right.
Yeah, so basically we have to start with detoxification in every you know, level of our life, you know, and so because it's really helpful. So I also can mention that a lot of people lately in my practice were suffering from and complaining about different paranormal activities. So, and I also was mentioning about geopathic zones, and when Dr. Janes, you know, decided to speak about that, I decided totally support him in that because it's very important, and we have to. I know it's already been taken out, you know, on the people's, you know, to let the people know, so out there. But we decided to emphasize that again, that there is some certain like machine like Dr. Janes has in his clinic, and you're welcome to try it. You know, it's very interesting, and I've tried that myself. I really liked it. So, and Dr. Janes gonna maybe in our next interview we're gonna speak about this machine and explain to you what is what, right?
Right.
So let me just mention some plants that really like to be only in positive energy, which one in the houses and in the areas that do not have all these electromagnetic fields and you know, and geopathic zones, I would say. So it's the bushes and the flowers, roses, and the onion, celery, cactus, lilies, pears, ash, beech trees, apple trees, and also some nut trees. So they really like to grow in positive energies. However, we have some of them that really don't like to be in positive energies, and they actually really get their energy from negative energy. And whenever I learned that, I was kind of surprised about that myself. Like I learned that the oak tree, they really don't like to be in positive energy. However, it's one of the oldest growing tree. Pretty much all weeds, mushrooms, and asparagus, and oaks and elderberry trees. This is the major. This is the core of this, you know, our plants that prefer the negative energy out of all of them. And also there's some animals who really avoid bad geopathic zones, and it could be you know, they're really reacting really badly on that. And probably everybody knows the horses. They really react bad on something negative around them, you know. It's of course horses, dogs, fish, mice, chickens, cows, pigs, and sheep, and some more also, but this is what also the core one, what I decided to let you guys know. but also some animals and even insects, they really like to thrive in a negative zones. It's like cats, like Dr. Janes already mentioned, ants, and some termites. Yeah, they better they better love that part, right? It's not a good one. Termites and beetles, bees, wasps, and yeah, that's very interesting that bees like bad energy. They give us so good, the honeys and propolis, purga. That is very, very important. Yeah, and and they don't like.
Plus, look at all the good things, they pollinate everything.
I know. That's true.
I don't know, doesn't make any sense, does it?
Exactly. A lot of things what we they come to conclusion to our conversation. We just want to say to you guys that a lot of things that in life doesn't have common sense. However, it's existing, and just pay attention. Pay attention at your house. Pay attention the position you sleep, and any other recommendation.
I've had a lot of patients tell me if they live near water, that it affects their health for some reason. Say a pond or of a creek runs right behind their house. Sometimes they develop problems from that. I guess it's the electrical charge that the minerals produce when they're going in the streams.
Yeah. So
it's kind of interesting too. I've heard that a number of times.
Right, and yeah, Dr. Janes now mentioning the thing that actually affects on more of like on a health-wise from the stuff that we can eliminate and we can see, right? Let's say if we might even do certain tests, for people and see what they depleted with. Different factors to that, but one of the factors that it's nothing works for people like that. So except for them just to get the, get away from this badly energetic area and move to another one, and they're thriving with everything, with the health and the job and mental function and the sleep patterns and everything, right?
Right.
So basically your test would be able to identify kind of, right? And
yes.
Yeah. Do you take your test, like your machine, to people's houses or not? Or you just checking the physical body and?
Yeah, I check in the office. I check to see if there is some kind of geomagnetic or electromagnetic. Then I can take a frequency device, and you can also check the frequency. Say for instance in a light socket, if there's a frequency coming out of there that would affect our body, you can detect those. You can go all the way around the room and find where there's no electrical effect.
Right, very interesting.
As well, so.
Okay, now let me ask you, maybe some people, would have interest in it and ask if there's anything we can take, let's say, in our body to get rid of these frequencies or to prevent ourselves from that. Let's say maybe some supplements or any minerals, vitamins, whatever. What do you think? Would it work on that level or not? Or we just have to remove the main reason of the problem?
Well, if at all possible, I would try to remove it. But there's certain things we can't avoid, like radiation. Radiation can be minimized. The effect of it can be minimized by using iodine.
Oh yes.
Or actually mushrooms have
Yes.
been proven in studies to be very effective.
Very interesting, because the mushrooms like to live in this negative energy, and they are really protecting us from certain negative, energies and negative, and so definitely everybody knows that they're protecting us from certain types of mushrooms, protecting us from, free radicals, which is also outcome of all this, bad energies. Either or, wherever it comes from, but either or, it's not a good energy in the body. So very interesting. So anything else would you like to add?
And electrical devices from your room, I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
pretty
that's a
much,
big one, yeah.
It's very important, and it creates electrosmog. And another thing that has been ignored for years, and I find it, talking to my patients all the time, that they're using an electric blanket.
Oh
Which is a
guys,
big
electric
mistake.
blanket is a big mistake. That's, yes, yep.
Or, even worse, water beds. Years ago, those things are very popular, and the coils underneath would
Yep.
stimulate that water, the charge would stay in the water, and definitely interfere with sleep for sure.
I remember about 20 years ago, I was very sophisticated with that water bed, and I said, I have to get one. And then I sat on the bed, and I said, oh, no, I'm swimming here. So I was so happy not to get it. It was a good intuition, right? Not to
Right.
get it. All right, so, and teenagers, all message for you, please don't sleep with your phones. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. You're not getting enough, you're getting enough hours, but you're not getting enough of deep waves of sleeping, yeah, and your cycle is breaking, and that's why a lot of, teenagers suffering from, attention deficit disorder also, and learning this, kind of like disability and frustration and all kinds of stuff. So that's why, again, like in my previous videos, I was mentioning a lot, paying attention on iodine level, and Dr. Roger Janes can also lead you to that, because his practice is big on all this environmental and electromagnetic toxin removal methods.
Right.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Janes. It was very interesting. I hope our people gonna like this interview, and you guys, if you liked it, please put your like so we would know what to bring to you next time. And like this video if you did, of course, and subscribe to our channel. And so I'm gonna leave all information about Dr. Janes Clinic, and just write in the titles in the video. And thank you for watching, and thank you for staying with us until end of the video. All right.